Hi there, Omar.
Hi, how are you?
How's it going? Not too bad. My name is Robert Biron, but everyone calls me Salty Beard. Right now I'm in Victoria.
A few weeks ago, I had a chat with Robert Biron, aka Salty Beard Backpacking from Vancouver Island, British Columbia. He is a popular influencer on platforms like YouTube and Instagram, where he shares his bike travel experiences with his followers. Thanks for your time, Bob. What does the weather look like over there right now?
Well, we've just had a fair bit of rain come through. We might be getting some sunshine, but this time of the year it's going to be wet, and it's around 3 to 5 degrees centigrade. Sometimes it'll get up to 12. We have pretty mild, temperate temperatures right here in Victoria itself. We don't have to go far out of Victoria though to see snow.
I've been in Victoria once. I remember I used to work in the field somewhere in agriculture, Saanich, something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yep, that's actually where I am. I'm not right in the downtown core. I'm just a little bit north. I'm in Saanich.
Saanich, North Saanich or South Saanich was the name. Saanich Town.
Yep, yeah, I know where Saanich Town is. That's up a little bit farther north.
I spent time in Victoria. Sini, no, that's north. Because when you're coming from Vancouver, you got the boats in Tawasin, and then from Tawasin,
yeah, and you're in Sydney, and you're about 25, 30 kilometers to drive into Victoria. So you go through Sydney, North Saanich, and then Victoria.
Were you actually cycling around Vancouver Island? Beyond that?
So I kind of cycle everywhere. Most of my kind of 2 and 3 day trips are relatively local. They're kind of Victoria to Nanaimo area in there. And every fall I take a really big trip somewhere, and I kind of make episodes over the winter. So this year I've done a couple of trips that are North Vancouver Island. And last year I did a trip that was basically kind of Vancouver to Penticton through a bunch of back roads that most people don't really travel on.
When you assume and you face your own fears and everything, I guess is the ideal. But this is part of the human. What do you think? It's part of the human condition, huh?
It is. I mean, all of our cycling that we do, we always push our comfort zones, and whether or not those are physical limitations or technical trails, or it's our interaction with cultures, we always it's only human nature to kind of challenge ourselves. And I think that's how we grow as people, is to step over those comfort zones. And for some people it's just being social, right? It's being out on a trip and kind of having that little bit of anxiety of when you meet new people or you get into situations that you've never been in, right? And working through those. So I think that fear is, you call it, that little bit of anxiety is natural, and it's whatever it might be. For some people, they don't want to, or they've never camped out in the wilderness, so their anxiety is over wildlife, right? And it's just a matter of exposure and doing it and learning along the way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we talking about exposition, and then when you put your tent in the middle of nowhere, and then you feel the fear, but you have the freedom to do that. Anyways,
that is. It's I think one of the things that attracts us to bike packing and cycling in the wilderness is that disconnect from everything that's going on, and that freedom of just, if you've set up your trips where you have an easy timetable, then you can stop whenever, and you can take that extra time and just enjoy a lake that you may have stumbled upon, and you don't need to get up and get moving right away. You can have that second cup of coffee and enjoy. And I think that's what bike packing is. It is for me. I think I have 2 distinct modes when I'm kind of in a racing mode, where I'm actually preparing for bike packing races, versus when I go out on my own vacations. It's about recharging my own batteries. So it's about just taking my time and soaking it all in and enjoying that and working through whatever either mechanical or logistic problems that I've got or route finding, whatever the case may be. And again, learning from those situations. I'm a really low-key person, so most of the time when I meet people out there, they're kind of in the same mindset as me. They're just chill and relaxing, and you're meeting somebody that's new. And there's so many times that I've met people out in the wilderness that it turns out we actually have mutual friends. I have so many small world stories. It's kind of amazing, but I think if you've spent a long time on a bike and you've traveled in different countries, I think that's a bit different, because you can have a long stretch of having kind of no human contact, and then all of a sudden being in like the hustle and bustle of a larger city or something like that can, I think, upset you and kind of get on your nerves.
In my environment, I said, if you pass the 10,000 kilometers, you never come back. Even though when you come back and you have it settled down somewhere, actually you never come back. This is my experience. I don't know what is your experience, but sometimes I feel like people who are actually traveling for quite a long time and stuff and spend a long time in the roads, and then you just go away and never come back, even though, then when you come back, you're dealing with the situation. What is your experience?
I kind of know what you mean. Sorry. I know kind of where you're coming from. I haven't had the privilege to be able to go out for that extended period of time and enjoy, a lot of other countries besides Canada and the U.S. I mean, I've done some traveling in Mexico. But as a cyclist, I've heard that from people that do cycle around the world and cycle, multi-continent, is that when they do come back, they never really do settle down. They still always want to be traveling, or they still feel like they are traveling. And I haven't had that scenario yet. Most of my trips are in that 20 to 30 day maximum is kind of what I've had. So I haven't had any issues with kind of adjusting back to a regular 9-to-5 job or anything. So.
Exactly, and but we agree that cycling actually is an existential blast, I will call, because it's amazing experience.
It is. It's as we always read about cyclists. You reach your highs and your lows, and you can have that in a single day, where you reach rock bottom because you're tired or the weather's bad, and you don't want to go on, and then a half an hour later you can be at a complete high. And it's an emotional roller coaster every day when you're cycling big trips, and I think the bigger trip, the more that's accentuated, where you can have really low periods where you don't want to be around anybody, or you're not having a good time, you just want to end the trip and everything, and then moments later you could that's the only thing that you could be doing is out riding your bike. And I think that is a benefit of cycling. That emotional roller coaster, again, exposes us to things that we don't normally get: anxiety and fear and joy and elation. That's something that cycling, I think, gives everybody. The longer you do it, you experience more of that, and it's quite a full experience,
including the spiritual experience. Yeah?
Yes, including that too. Yeah, everyone experiences things differently, and they absorb things differently, and they transcend that energy into different, it manifests into different ways for every person, right? So some people, it's a very spiritual existence. For other people, it's more, quite specific or related to other life events, right? So
every person has a different style, different, as you said, way to absorb the situation. But anyways, we agree, and that is a truly a great experience to go away. Yeah?
And I think cycling is kind of like, I'll call it a great leveler, in the sense that you can be a high-end racer, or you can be just an everyday person who goes out to ride the bike. The bicycle is the common factor, and you can exploit that vehicle in any way you want, whether or not it's rolling down a boulevard to go get ice cream with your children, or going racing, or adventuring around the world. The common denominator is that you're on a bicycle, and you're seeing everything at a slower pace, and you're smelling everything that you're going by, and I think that's the absorption tool, I guess, if you want to call it. It's part of everyone when they go cycling, where it's like, I've put in the effort to go up the hill, I get to go down the hill now. I've put in the effort, I can enjoy a beer, or you've cycled all day and you've met someone new, like a family or something like that, and you sit down and you have that meal. It's all that sacrifice that led up to that moment that makes that moment even better.
So what is your present situation? You stay in one place, or you are actually on the road?
So I actually have a full-time job, so I have a career, so I'm anchored to that. I work a 9-to-5 job, so I just try to get out on the weekends or my long weekends. I have the fortunate ability to have every second weekend is a 3-day weekend, so I try to get out. And I ride to and from work every day. And then on my whatever time I can get off, I try to do that as a big trip to go somewhere. So, this summer I had 9 days to go somewhere, and then I had another 15 days to go somewhere. So that's what I'm doing right now. I mean, I would love to be riding more often. I would love to have a semi-retired life, but that's just not, really in the cards just yet. I do have some bigger plans. I want to do a cross-Canada trip that's just as much dirt and mountain biking and bike packing style as possible. And I'm going to use that as a fundraiser option. But I think that's still a couple of years down the road.
Did you ever have it in mind to cycle with another person?
I do almost everything by myself, and it's partly because the planning of big trips can be difficult the more people you add to it. So I like the flexibility of when I do travel alone, that I can, I want to go over here today, or I want to just sit on my bum in camp for an entire day because it's so beautiful. I don't have to answer to anybody. But when you are on a trip, everyone is always making a concession, and it has to be very amiable. So I think when you are on trips with other people, there's other considerations that you have to take into account. But it's nice to be able to share your experiences and enjoy them with another person at the same time. And again, because people experience things differently, then you can talk amongst yourselves about what experiences you've gained on that trip. You may see things differently than the other person. So I think that's the joy of having somebody with you. But again, it requires a lot of concession and a lot of discussion so that one person doesn't feel like they're going slower than the other one or faster than the other one. And it's just a life of compromise, which I think life is all about compromises.
Any recommendation to anybody, global audience?
Okay. So I think for people that are getting into cycling and to bike packing specifically, a lot of people think that it's a big adventure and it's very complicated, but cycling is all about baby steps. It's all about starting off with slow, manageable goals, and eventually you grow as a cyclist and you grow as a person, both with your physical abilities and your technical abilities, and eventually you get there. So it's about being patient and just taking small steps and enjoying every moment along the way.
Hey, thank you very much from Quebec. And
thank you very much from Victoria.
Have a good one, eh?
You too. All right, take care, Omar.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Salut.
Listen to this and other podcasts on Omar Global Radio, omarglobal.com.